The Cowboys fall on Thanksgiving 36-33 in overtime against the Las Vegas Raiders. They are now 7-4 on the season, and they have the New Orleans Saints coming up on the docket. Another Thursday night game, this time Thursday night football, as we welcome you into Special Edition from the Star in Frisco alongside Isaiah Stanback, Barry Church, Nate Newton. I'm Kyle Yeomans. The Cowboys have lost 3 of their last 4 games, so I start this off by asking, is the fairy tale start to the season? Is it over, guys? Is it over? Are the expectations now going downhill a little bit after the loss to the Raiders?
I don't believe that it's over, but we do need to find our pixie dust. The pixie dust has to come back out because these guys are on, obviously, the wrong side of things right now, the win column. They can figure things out. They can get it going again against the doggone Saints because guess what? The Saints aren't that great on offense, and that is where we need to pick it up.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. The fairy tale, it's not over yet. You know, everything's still out in front of this Cowboys team. They can still win a division. They can still get to the playoffs and make a long run. So it's not over yet. I think we still got a 2-game lead in the division. So they still got everything in front of them. They just have to refocus, get back to the basics, because that's what has been hurting us lately. So if we get back to the basics, I think we'll be all right for the rest of the season.
Yes. The fairy tale is over. And reality has set in. You're in the grind part of the season. You have to rededicate yourself to the cause at hand. You have to get this thing back to 1 game. You have to get your offensive line back going, and then the fairy tale will start on the latter part of the season.
I like the way you put that because it is a grind. It is a 17-game season in the NFL, and you got to figure it out. Cowboys falling in overtime against the Raiders, their first overtime loss of the season. And let's start on the offensive side of the football. Isaiah, what took so long for the offense to wake up in this game?
I'm really not sure. I just feel like these guys were out physical. I think they were out hustled. Offensive line was still trying to figure things out. Dak was inaccurate like he was last game. Receivers were dropping balls. Opportunities just didn't present themselves, or when they did present themselves, we didn't take advantage.
Yeah, we didn't take advantage at all, and they didn't start fast. You know, I thought if we go out there, start fast on this team, put your throat or put your foot on their neck, and kind of make them understand that they can't be on the same field as you. We didn't do that as a Cowboys team. We started slow, gave that team confidence, and the rest went downhill from there.
Quarterback wasn't sharp, receivers dropping passes, offensive line playing merry-go-round. Let's get back to who we are, get a starting offensive line that we know can do the job, and it should be okay.
Yeah, we've got a merry-go-round. We've got pixie dust. Are we at Disney World or are we at the Star in Frisco? What is going on? The Cowboys certainly did not have the best game defensively either. Their first 35-plus points allowed game since last Thanksgiving against Washington. Had been a complete year since the Cowboys have had a defensive performance like this. What went wrong on that side of the ball?
The plays that Kansas City did not make, the Raiders did make. There's plenty of opportunities where we had opportunities to stop them in man coverage, and they were just simply better. The pass interferences did not help. The penalties did not help. They gave those guys extended drives and more opportunities to score points.
Yeah, I believe that, you know, bend but don't break defense, it finally broke. I mean, this was the game where the defense usually keeps an umbrella on all those big plays, those big explosive plays. But Deshaun Jackson, the 35-year-old, he can still run, and he blew the top off of our secondary in that game. So hopefully we can get that under control and going forward, and we get back to our defensive ways.
Get back to your technique. Understand where your help is. Keep people in front of you. Tackle. That you can control how you tackle. Make sure once they catch the ball, tackle them.
Now that we've gotten a chance to go through the offensive side, the defensive side, now we get a chance to put that one in the rearview mirror. Thank goodness, because it was another loss for the Cowboys, a chance to rebound this week against the New Orleans Saints. Just how dangerous are Cam Jordan and the Saints? We talk about that when we come back with more Special Edition right after this.
Special Edition, presented by AT&T, is brought to you by Ford, built for Texas, built for you. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Salvation Army, doing the most good. And by AT&T. This segment is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Play the new Gym 7 scratch tickets. There's a Gym 7 scratch ticket for everyone, so play today.
The New Orleans Saints coming off a tough loss at home to the Buffalo Bills. Will they get to play again at the Superdome against the Dallas Cowboys, who come off a hard-fought loss against the Las Vegas Raiders? Both teams trying to rebound this week, and, well, their Thanksgiving bounce did not go to plan. Welcome back in to Special Edition. Let's take a look at this Saints team, starting with the pass attack. Trevor Siemian and company have not won a game where he has started this season. Did win a game coming in as a backup for Jameis Winston, but as a starter, he is 0 for 5 this season as a quarterback. So where do you see this passing attack going up against the struggling secondary for the Cowboys?
I think we need to challenge them. I think we need to go directly at these boys, make sure that we come up, play press man, trust our front seven to get home. These guys are second worst in the league in terms of passing average. These guys are under 60% completion. That's not a stat that they want to be on that side of. We want to take full advantage of that, make Siemian show us that he is an NFL quarterback, and when he decides to give us opportunities, let's go ahead and get those.
Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I think we need to challenge these receivers, and I think Trevor Siemian is a guy that we can take advantage of. I think this is a guy that struggles. If you take away his first progression, going through the second and third one, I think we can take advantage of him. So if we disguise our coverage a little bit, maybe a little bit of pressure on him, get happy feet back there, we may be able to talk him into an interception or two.
I think this is one of the few times, where the back end can help the front end, get our guys up front going, get a few hits, a few sacks. If our guys can press like you guys are talking about, it'll help our front end to be a lot better.
Hopefully that's the case. The Cowboys looking to get a couple guys back on their passing attack. As for the run game, the Saints hoping to get Alvin Kamara back. Now, at the moment, still nothing official on whether or not he will play. He has missed the last 3 games. So if he does play, how much of a challenge does he present to this Cowboys defense?
He's a type of back that we've seen. We saw Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the same type of back, but I think he's a little bit more explosive. He's very versatile. You have to account for him, and majority of their plays, whether it's run or pass, they want to get him the ball, and they definitely miss his production. If he's back for us, we definitely need to know exactly where he's at all times.
Yeah, we definitely need to know where he is at all times. I mean, this guy, I think he's one of the premier backs in the National Football League. He has the best of both worlds. He can hit you between the tackles, and he's a great receiver out of the backfield. So this Cowboys defense, if he plays, they have got to know where number 41 is at all times, or he has an opportunity to be a game record.
Church, Isaiah, I believe you got to hit him at all times. Whether he's outside, whether he's inside, whether he's in the slot, put your hands on him. And when you're taking him to the ground, I'm not saying drive into him and do anything illegal, but an extra shove would help.
Let's flip to the Saints side of things on the defensive side for the Cowboys, or on the Saints defensive side, rather. Cowboys have struggled up front as an offensive line. How do they contain guys like Cam Jordan and Demario Davis?
Be persistent. These guys are very aggressive, physical players, and if we want to enforce our will, we're going to have to come out and be more dominant than them and have a greater will than they have.
Yeah, when it comes to Cam Jordan on the offensive line, they got to believe in their technique. I mean, we saw last week in that game that there was a lot of penalties. There was a lot of penalties out there, so they cannot go out there and penalize this team by holding Cam Jordan or anything like that. Demario Davis, he's the heart and soul of this defense. He's a great blitzing linebacker, so they're going to have to know where he is at all times because he can be a game wrecker as well.
Cam Jordan can play the run and pass rush equally well, but there's also a guy we're not talking about is Marcus Davenport, a UTSA grad, man. This dude has came on in the last few years, man. A complete player now.
Yeah, first-round pick from down in San Antonio, played for the Roadrunners a couple years ago. Their first-round pick, and he is certainly starting to blossom on the defensive side. Now for the secondary for New Orleans, that's a place where they do have some veterans back there. Can the Cowboys get that passing game going?
I think so. Lattimore is a heck of a corner. He's very aggressive. He's really feisty. He's going to be in your hip pocket the entire game. And Malcolm Jenkins is the savvy veteran who's been around, and he's really the leader of that entire defense.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I think we can take advantage of him with all our trio out there, but Lattimore, he's one of the best corners at press coverage. He loves to get in your face. He loves to get physical with you and get your hands on him. So we're going to have to do a great job with releases. And like you said, Jenkins, he's one of the heart and soul guys of that defense. Gets them all lined up. He's a quarterback back there. So we got to know where he is as well.
The bigger the game, the better this secondary plays, and we have to be on board and on time.
Yeah, that's a huge thing for the Cowboys. And when we come back, we're going to see how the Cowboys can achieve a couple of those things as Isaiah Stanback takes us into the film room. How can the Cowboys defense take advantage of a balanced Saints attack?
This segment was brought to you by the Texas Lottery. This segment is brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you.
Back here on Special Edition as we continue looking ahead to Week 13 of the NFL season. The Cowboys and the Saints on Thursday Night Football. And the Saints bring one of the best balanced attacks in the entire NFL. It's about 50-50 between the run and the pass, and Isaiah Stanback is going to break down the film for us here, presented by Nationwide. And it starts with the Cowboys having to establish the run on their offensive end of the football. It's been a problem for the Cowboys as of late. How do they rectify that against one of the best run defenses in the league?
Yeah, like Kyle said, this is the number 6 rushing defense in the league. These guys don't allow a lot of yards on the ground. And unfortunately for the Dallas Cowboys, 4 out of our last 5 games, we have yet to reach 100 yards. So it's kind of a thing we don't want to talk about, but we have to address. So let's go ahead and address it. Whenever we see these guys, and they actually give us an opportunity to run the ball, you're going to see it in the form of 2 high safeties. These 2 safeties right here are going to provide themselves, and you're going to present that. Dak Prescott is going to be to the line of scrimmage. As soon as he sees that, I don't care what play is called. I don't care if it's a pass play to CeeDee Lamb. I don't care if it's a pass play to Amari Cooper. Check out of it and let's get the ball to Tony Pollard or Ezekiel Elliott. Reason being is going to provide you with a 6-man box. You guys will see these guys right here. We're going to box these guys in. And then with those safeties sitting high, their natural instinct is to go back into the secondary in that space. That gives us and our offensive linemen all the ability to run the ball, kick these guys back, and establish our run game, get back to being 100-yard rushers every game. Let's roll it through right quick so you guys can see it. Now, these guys have Cam Jordan. They have Davenport. They have Davis. Boom, pause it right there. You guys are going to see this great kick-out block right here by this guard. You're going to see them work up here and kick them out. We're reaching up to this next level, getting a seal. Cornerbacks are getting ran out. Now what you end up having is this nice little ravine right here, and you're going to be able to get up onto the second level. And again, where are these safeties at? These safeties are way back here, giving us a great opportunity to get some yardage, just like these guys do here with the Philadelphia Eagles. Easy first downs. We have to be able to take advantage of these opportunities whenever they present themselves, because it's not going to happen that often.
No, not at all. And whenever you see those types of indications, you have to get after it because, well, here Howard was able to take advantage for a first down run, but Ezekiel Elliott, Tony Pollard, arguably more explosive than the Eagles' run offense, and they'll look to try and employ that against the Saints. Now, on the other side, you got to slow down whoever's running the football, whether it's Ingram, whether it's Kamara, doesn't matter. You have to find a way to load their box whenever you can.
Now, listen up. There's a strength of these guys' offense is in their running game. They don't have the quarterback to throw this thing around right now. Currently, their quarterback is Simeon. We're not threatened by him, neither are we threatened by their receivers. So what can we do as a defense? We can load the box. We can take advantage of this opportunity. Let's get our safeties down here into the box. Let's get our cornerbacks pressing these wide receivers, and let's go ahead and give ourselves an 8-man box so that these guys are discouraged to run the ball. But if they decide to be bullheaded and go ahead and run the ball, whether it's Ingram or whether it's Kamara, it doesn't matter. We need to take advantage of when the ball presents itself and punch this thing out and create some turnovers. You guys will see a perfect opportunity right here running through. Ingram's going to get the ball here, cut right up inside the middle. He has a nice little lane, but great job getting the little, once you see the peekaboo, go ahead and reach through. So you guys see that right there. Let's run it on the other side. Now, these guys like to run the ball, as you mentioned earlier, Kyle, 46% of the time. Again, when that ball presents itself, go ahead and punch that thing out. He does a great job of keeping his eyes right here on the ball. Once his eyes are on the ball, he's coming out, he's punching that thing out. Opportunity to grab a nice little turnover, give our offense the ball back so we can get ahead of these guys so we can actually stay with our running game.
Hey, that's one way to do it. Fletcher Cox was able to do it there, and it really allowed the Philadelphia Eagles to take advantage with a turnover. The Cowboys will look to do that as well moving forward. Now, we talked about establishing the run. How does Ezekiel Elliott and the Cowboys' run game get back to the fundamentals and find a bit of success? And who are they facing when they face the Saints this week?
This segment was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. This segment is brought to you by AT&T.
The Cowboys have lost 3 of 4, and a bunch of key matchups have paid dividends, both positively and negatively for the Cowboys in those losses and the one win as well. Special edition, Isaiah, Barry, Nate, I'm Kyle Yeomans. And gentlemen, you all have your matchups that you want to get to that could be the difference between a win and the loss for the Cowboys? Barry, we'll start with you.
Start with me?
I'll start with you.
I got a marquee matchup. All right, I got DeMario Davis versus Ezekiel Elliott. Now, Davis, he's the heart and soul of this Saints team. He gets them rowdy. He's the quarterback on that second level. He's a great blitzer, and he's great against the run. So we got to know where he is. And then you got Ezekiel Elliott. He's the heart and soul of their offense, pounding 3 cards in a cloud of dust. You know how he works against defenses. I'm going to lean towards Zeke on this one, and I think he wins this matchup.
Zeke's been banged up the last couple of weeks, only had 10 carries, or under 10 carries, actually, in that game against the Raiders. Now, Isaiah, you want a guy who hasn't really been banged up, but he hasn't been available either.
Yeah, we have a guy by the name of Amari Cooper, and he's going to be coming back from the COVID protocol, and he's pretty much had 2 weeks off. Just give him 2 bye weeks per se. And he's going to be going against their most aggressive defensive back, which comes in the form of Lattimore. Lattimore is physical. He wants to put his hands on you. Amari Cooper is rested, hamstrings healthy. I'm looking forward to seeing Coop get off the line of scrimmage, go ahead and go ham on this guy, get some touchdowns, because we need you, Coop. We missed you.
Oh, you definitely missed him a little bit. Now, there were 2 100-yard receivers. Both Michael Gallup and Cedric Wilson hit the century mark in the loss against the Raiders, but having him back, I think, is going to open things up for this offense. Now, Nate Newton, I know you've got a battle that's in the trenches coming up on Thursday.
I do, but they got me kind of lost, man. I know it's Cam Jordan over there for the Saints, but I don't know who my right tackle is. Is it going to be Steele? Is it going to be Collins? Is somebody going to take the reins here and dominate this thing, take the bulls by the horns and say, hey, coach, I'm your man? Because if we don't get some type of continuity going, that can hurt us during the game.
I think that's a great point. Now, who would you put out there if you were taking at least a look at those right tackles in that situation?
I'm going with Steele. I mean, to me, he plays with better technique. They both play hard, but I like the guy that's going to stick with his technique and going to battle to the end, you know. So, I mean, Lyle's a little bit meaner, but still he's learning and he's getting better and better. So I would go with the young guy.
He built some confidence, I think, on the back half of that game against the Raiders. Now, there was a lot of shuffling from the offensive line early on. Isaiah, what did you think about the shuffling and how the Cowboys really could use that moving into the latter parts of the year?
I don't like it. I don't like it, and I don't want to disrespect Coach Philbin. I understand that he's a master of all trades. However, you know, it's your offensive line, and, you know, to Nate's point, you need that continuity. It's not like the running back position where you can just swap guys out.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. You have to have that continuity to your right, to your left. If you're on the left, then you got to know who's going to have you on the back end as well. So the Cowboys offensive line, Coach Philbin, have a lot to deal with heading up against another really good front. 3 weeks in a row where that front has been pretty scary. The Chiefs, the Raiders, and now the New Orleans Saints. When we come back, we wrap things up, give you the keys to victory as the Cowboys take on the Saints coming up this Thursday.
This segment was brought to you by AT&T. Special edition presented by AT&T was brought to you by Ford. Built for Texas, built for you. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. AT&T. And by NFL Game Pass. You'll never miss a game again. Enjoy full and condensed game replays from Week 1 to the Super Bowl. Subscribe at DallasCowboys.com/Game Pass.
31st all-time meeting between the Dallas Cowboys and the New Orleans Saints, in the first since 2019, when the Saints actually came out on top at the Superdome 12-10. Final segment here of Special Edition. Gentlemen, keys to the game. What you got for a Cowboys victory, Nate?
I need for the offensive line to be settled so we can know how to handle this game. I mean, we don't need no merry-go-round. We need to know who's at the guards and who's at the tackle. We know who the center is, and we need to just have some continuity there.
Yeah, I think for my key, we got to take advantage of Trevor Siemian. I mean, this is a guy who hasn't had a lot of playing time out there. I think if we disguise our secondary, we can talk him into throwing us a couple interceptions. So let's go out there and take advantage of old Trevor.
Well, in order to take care of Siemian, we got to make sure they're not running the ball. So we have to negate their ability to run this ball because they want to get the ball in the hands of Ingram or Kamara. Whichever one's going to be out there, we can't let either one of them gain any confidence on the ground.
Yeah, those are three great keys to the game, but I think really you look at this game as an opportunity to try and get the penalties in the rearview mirror. The Cowboys breaking a franchise record with 166 penalty yards last week against the Raiders. That's my key to the game. I don't normally give a key to the game, but that's one for me this week because looking back at the Raiders game, you cannot afford to have that. Sure, some were not the greatest calls in the world, but at some point, if you're the most penalized team in the NFL, it's not always on the refs. That's just a quick secret for you guys out there. Cowboys Nation, I know you might be a little frustrated, but that's the fact of it. You can't afford to give the refs opportunities to win or lose you games in the NFL, and that's what they did last week. The Cowboys and the Saints, well, they get after it at 7:20 Thursday Night Football on Fox. For Isaiah, Barry, Nate, I'm Kyle Yeomans. Thanks for joining us this week here on Special Edition.